Update yesterday. Here is a neat way that I would look out for these very important weekly closures of both Ethereum and Bitcoin. Per my post yesterday, I want to give you a tip on how I would be viewing this. So I have the weekly chart up here. This is Bitcoin specifically. I have drawn in with the path tool the weekly 10, which is the red line, and the weekly 21. And so I have them drawn in, and now I'm going to go to the weekly, but I'm going to pay attention to that closure over here. So see how over here on this side, right where my cursor is, it says 6 hours and 30 minutes. All right, but then I'll flip to the hourly, and then I have all my EMAs off, right? Because I've drawn in the only two that I really want. And now I can see how price is interacting with that ever important line. And then I just know that it's 8 p.m. New York time. So I can see more clearly what price is doing. And then I can have my more typical indicators, what the stochastics are doing, what the RSI is doing on the 1 hour. And this is how I would like to see the importance of the weekly closure, because it really could predict with a decent, it give you a good prediction tool of what is more likely or less likely to happen next week. Again, it's going to be a lot more bullish if Bitcoin can close out the week just above this line. All right, and then flipping to Ethereum, I've done the same thing. So, and you might want to try this out too. It's really a pretty neat way to view this. So I have only the weekly 10 because Ethereum is above its weekly 21. Doing this one-handed is a little hard. So Ethereum's above its weekly 21. As you can see, the yellow line down here, it's above it right where my cursor's going around. And so I've drawn that in. I'm going down to the 1 hour chart, take off my EMAs since I don't need them, since I only want to look at one. And so you essentially, for the market to be, have a better chance of really racing up this next week, have a nice big green week candle, you really want both. You want Ethereum to close above this line and Bitcoin to close above that yellow line. One without the other, I'm not for sure what that would mean, but if it's Ethereum closing above and Bitcoin not, just remember, and just remember that Ethereum has been used for fake outs. Because a lot of, I think it's accurate to say most of the leverage being used in crypto is not on Bitcoin, rather with all the altcoin offerings on leverage. So if people are looking at Ethereum as the altcoin leader and Bitcoin is not closing where it needs to close to be bullish, but Ethereum is, it has a decent potential of being a fake out. So don't forget that, especially a weekly closure. So I would watch out for that. I wouldn't be as bullish if Ethereum closed above this and Bitcoin closed below the yellow line from the previous chart. And these are the things I would be looking out for specifically. And there was one more thing that I was talking about in my update from yesterday is the daily. This is the Doji candle that I was talking about. So if Bitcoin can close a day above this Doji candle right here from, let's see, December 24th, so Christmas Eve, then that could really send things going as well, skyrocketing up. And a closure above there would also, that would still be below the weekly 21. But for example, since today is the last day of the week, you could get in some land of awkwardness here if you get a closure above that, but it's still below the yellow. I would still not be quite as bullish, but it would be slightly more bullish because you're making a higher local high. So it could get a little tricky to interpret the daily versus the weekly chart. I would prefer a closure above here, but a closure just above here in the event on Bitcoin, in the event that Ethereum does close above its weekly, I would lean slightly bullish, but I would be looking for a fake out, a potential fake out, because Ethereum closed above its red line while Bitcoin closed below its yellow line. So any closure below the weekly 21, but above here, while Ethereum closes strong above the red line, this could be your fake out zone. So just know that this little range here of 1.5%, I would be watching out for that little pocket there. It could be a tricky pocket, and it would make interpretation of forecasting what's going to happen next week a little bit trickier. So watch out for that too.